It's the first item on the agenda. Well, first of all, just take roll call, please.
O'Brien. Thomas.
Present.
Thorstensen.
Here.
Woodside.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Here.
5 present.
So this is the April 6, 2026 Gurnee Village Board meeting starting the 6:15 public hearing on fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget. Okay.
Sure. So back in December, January, we had the capital meeting, brought the trustees from the one-on-ones in after that, talked about the budget. In March, we had budget workshop number 1 where we ran through the budget, all the different funds. So tonight is on the agenda is the formal consideration of the budget, but before that we have our public hearing as we do every year. So Brian's going to run us through kind of a quick review of the budget, hit the highlights, and then discuss any changes that took place from the workshop in March until now.
All right, thank you, Pat. Pat really stole the thunder for the first slide here, just going over the dates in the process. Just a couple things I want to point out. Process includes three opportunities for public input. And tonight's public hearing was noticed in the Daily Herald on March 9th, in line with state statute. Since the workshop in March, we did make a few adjustments to the proposed budget. In the general fund, we added some funding for Gurnee Days and the Youth Leadership Committee. We offset that with a reduction in bank fees. We adjusted that a little bit, so we should see a reduction there. So the net impact to the general fund is 0. In the capital improvement fund, net impact is plus $490,000 to the budget. Added $250,000 for the village hall renovation as those costs start to come into a little better focus. And then added $170,000 for the sidewalk improvement at Milwaukee Route 21 and Gages Lake Road. And then shifted some engineering consulting funds, reduced the year-end estimate, and then added $70,000 the next year just based on the timing of some projects there. So just a few minor changes since the first budget workshop. As we get into the budget document, kind of the first thing you come to in the budget document is the mayor's budget message. This is the highest level overview, so I'll just hit a couple of the highlights here. Budget was prepared once again without a property tax. General fund reserves remain healthy and above the reserve policy. At the end of the fiscal year, we'll have only $2.2 million in outstanding debt, and that'll be the Knowles Road IEPA loan. We have the lowest cost of water of all Jawa communities, at least based on what's available publicly information as of a couple weeks ago. We're able to continue the senior discounts for water and some building permits. We have received the GFOA award for our budget document every year since fiscal year 2007, and no reason to think this one won't receive that as well. We continue overfunding the pensions in the budget. We maintain our contingency layers, so conservative budgeting, healthy reserve balance being 2 big ones there, and then funding for commissions, veterans, environmental, Gurnee Cares, and the arts. Next section you come to in the budget document, something we started a couple years ago. It's what's new in 2026-27 budget. This is really what the things that drive the year-over-year change in the numbers. So it's nice to review these without getting into the weeds and the numbers too much, because these are the big drivers of the differences there. So we'll just walk through them by department and administration. Adding a finance assistant position. This is really looking forward to some transition from some staff transition from finance to HR, getting us ready for that. Expanded the keeping posted, new website coming next year. A few different departments are looking at software for finance, permitting, and service requests. Right now we're on 4 different platforms if you count asset management out at Public Works. So it's inefficiencies, dual entries, things like that. So one of the things included in the strategic plan was finding efficiencies, and so this was one of those big projects that I talked about that covers multiple departments that we would look to, and so that is actually underway. We've had a few demos already and trying to get some efficiencies there. Some funding for the 250th celebrations, the Village Hall refresh we talked about, that's included in the capital plan. Updating the strategic plan, or at least kicking that process off. Obviously the big one in this budget is the addition of the 0.5% home rule sales tax and the elimination of the 1% grocery tax that comes back to municipalities. A number of new businesses, just a couple of the more impactful ones, Sky Zone and IKEA. And then the big one out at Bittersweet, the irrigation system, which that project should kick off this summer. Mm-hmm. In community development, getting some staff certified. And then obviously the engineering side of community development, overseeing the largest capital plan in the village's history. You know, like we've said that quite a bit, but this one is not even close to what it's been previously. So blows everything else out of the water. The police department, the real-time information center, looking at an additional K-9 for explosives, the drone as a first responder program, expanding that, a couple multi-jurisdictional kind of task force things, and then deploying less lethal option for the officers and pepper balls. Fire department, again, getting some certifications there to participate in the county-wide investigation team, deploying advanced cardiac monitors, as well as expanding the STARCOM radio network, our equipment that we have. Public Works Department, we have an intern, a mechanic intern, a multi-year water meter replacement program, working through an ADA transition plan. So this is not only for sidewalks and things like that, but also for buildings. Arc flash assessment and making sure we have the proper PEE depending on how that comes out. And then the big one out there is moving the fuel island to the north side of the property. We've been kind of looking at that for a couple of years. Personnel, total personnel includes 239.25 budgeted FTEs and 15 unbudgeted FTEs. If you remember a few years ago, maybe more than that now, we started including unbudgeted in here to be able to bring staff on board when we know there's a retirement, so continuity of services there. Administration, community development are up one each. That's that additional position in finance, and then adding a civil engineer position that looks like will be recruited and filled later in the year. Now that we have another dedicated source for capital, kind of right-sizing staff to be able to handle that capital funding and that capital plan year over year. Police department is down 23.75. That is largely the consolidation of dispatch, and then the addition of a sergeant. And then Public Works, you see the mechanic intern there, just up 0.35. 70% of all personnel is in public safety, police and fire, almost 16% in Public Works, and then the rest are split almost evenly between administration and community development. Getting into numbers, I'll stay high level with the numbers tonight. This chart shows us proposed revenue and expenses for fiscal year 27. Total revenues, $110.32 million. Total expenses, $115.76. Gives us a net use of fund balance of 5.54, largely for the capital plan that we had talked about. It's obviously a massive capital plan this year, so drawing down that capital improvement fund, $7.63 million. The golf course for the irrigation system, $2.4. Water and sewer fund, $3.55 million, and then fleet services is really just clawing back some excess fund balance there, back to the general fund, so that just a $500,000 there. I will point out the general fund is balanced at $55.6 million, and we have 3 funds that we're closing this year, 2 related to the consolidation of dispatch, and then the impact fee fund that we don't use anymore, and there's not enough coming in there to justify keeping it open. This chart shows where we project fund balance to be at the end of next year. That's that green arrow on your right column. And then the proposed capital transfer, which is on the agenda tonight, is $6.5 million. That's the green arrow on the left. It's important to note on this chart at the top there, we had talked about this during the workshop as well, but really the economic development fund and that health insurance fund is where we talked about it. They really balance off the general fund. So I modified this chart just a little bit to show 2 different ways. The general fund on its own, standalone, has a fund balance of $32.91 million next year. At the end of next year, that brings us to 71.6% of expenditures. And then if you include the economic development fund and that negative health insurance fund, it gets us to a combined balance of $31.06 million, or 67.57% of expenditures. So even with that negative health insurance fund that I always say balances off the general fund, we're still above the policy limit. MFT fund here will finish with 1.1 million, PD restricted revenue 366,000. The capital improvement fund, like I said, drawing that down pretty far, just over $1 million. Golf course fund, really that's the only activity in here was the irrigation system over the last couple of years, so drawing that back down to a normal balance. Water and sewer, 3.65 million, gets us to 32% of revenues, so water and sewer revenues there. It's a good spot to be in. And then fleet services, even after clawing back that 500,000, still has 400,000 left in there. Fleet services fund is meant to be a net zero every year, so keeping a little bit in there for fluctuation is a good idea. Sticking to the numbers here again, across all funds, so this is all funds that are budgeted by the village. Total revenues, 110.32, as I said, that's up 8.91 million, or about 8.8%. 50.4% of all revenues come into the general fund, 16.51% into the pension funds, 10.36 into that water and sewer operating and capital fund combined, 9.2 into the internal service funds, 8.6 into the capital fund, 4.34 in the special revenue funds, and then a tiny 0.5% into the golf course fund. Looking at the mix of revenues, again, here across all funds, major revenues account for just over 45%. That's sales, food and beverage, amusement, hotel taxes. Charges for service, just over 19%. Here we got the water and sewer charges, Warren Waukegan Fire Protection District contract, ambulance fees, off-duty security, and the police side. Investments and contributions, obviously this is investment income for the two pension funds, which is the big dollar amounts here, as well as the village. It also includes the village's contribution to the pension funds. Fund transfers in, almost 11%. This is those interfund transfers between health and fleet and also the economic development fund. Taxes, 2.18%. That's really road and bridge tax, resort tax, and telecom tax. Licenses and permits, just over 1%. That's building permits and then liquor and business licenses. And then fines and forfeitures, 0.71%. This is really police fines. Previously, this category had red light camera revenue in there. As you know, that program was not renewed, so this comes way down from last year if you look at it year over year. And then other sources, 0.23%. This includes really just reimbursements from workers' comp cases and then damage to village property. On the expenditure side, total budget, $115.76 million. Again, this is across all funds. That's up $12.28 million, or about 11.87%. General fund accounts for 48% of all expenditures. Obviously, it's the largest operating fund of the village. Capital fund this year, almost 15%. Water and sewer, almost 13%. And then internal service funds, 9.2% of all funds, all expenditures. Pension funds, 8.3%. Those special revenue funds, 4.1%. And then the golf course with the irrigation system this year, almost 2.6%. Looking at the mix of expenditures, no surprise, largest category, salary and wages as a service organization. If you combine benefits in there, it's almost 50%. General fund, it's almost 70%, if you look at just at the general fund. But no surprise there. Obviously, people's are mainly what we do. Capital, with this year's capital plan, 15.31%, massive capital plan. Contractual services includes the road resurfacing program and the purchase of water from Jawa. Employee benefits, we talked about. Fund transfers out. This is the expenditure side of the health insurance, fleet, and economic development fund. Other financing uses, about 4% of all expenditures. Professional and technical services, about 3%. This is Lakecom share is the big new one in there. We have the full year of the dispatch fee this year. Supplies, 2.17. This is fuel, snow and ice, fleet parts. Things like that. Other contractual services, here you got liability insurance, training, marketing, bank charges, stuff like that. And then the debt service, obviously, 0.49% of all expenditures is just that IEPA loan, with the additional $250,000 that we've been paying to bring it from a 20-year term to a 10-year term. In the water and sewer fund, staff is proposing a 2.7% water increase for rates. As you know, village opted to utilize some of the home rule sales tax to offset those large rate increases we would need to fund that capital infrastructure coming up. So we eliminated that need for those large rate increases, so really just trying to keep up buying power here. This dropped us to the lowest amongst the Jawa communities, just on an average bi-monthly water bill. This is just the water side, not the sewer side. 10,000 gallons, so we are now the lowest, with Volo coming at we're about $75, Volo's at $80. So again, based on information publicly available as of a couple weeks ago. Just a couple slides on pensions I wanted to review. This is police pension, just pointing out the funding ratio here. Funding ratio as of the last actuarial report, 78.7%, well above the state average, which I think is just barely 60. So we're in a really good spot here. And then this shows our funding over time. The green bars is the annual required contribution, so what we're required to kick in, and the blue shows what we've overfunded here recently in recent years. 27 budget includes $266,000 overfunding for the police pension side. In 22 fiscal year 21, 22, there was a huge spike in returns. Each fund had like 30% returns. That lowered what we would have to pay in the ARC. Rather than lower that, we just increased it by 3% and continued to overfund for a few years. Eventually, that'll catch up, probably in the next 2 or 3 years here. On the fire side, funded ratio 80.2, again, well above state average. And then you can see the funding here over the last few years. Less of an overfund here, but still overfunding this year by about 24,000. And over the last 4 years, 5 years, you can see we have overfunded. Again, same concept here, just increase it by 3%. Capital plan, again, the largest in Village's history, supplemented by that $6.5 million transfer from the general fund. The total plan is $28.15 million. That's $8.2 million more than last year. Transportation system accounts for $11.16 million of that. Buildings and buildings improvements, $6.36. Water and sewer, $5.42. Vehicles and equipment, almost $4 million. Technology, $919,000. And then stormwater management, $400,000. So needless to say, engineering will have their hands full next year. And finally, outstanding debt. The only outstanding debt the village has is the low-interest IEPA water loan, fixed rate of 1.84. It was a 20-year term. We're paying it off in 10 years, so the last payment will be made at the end of May in 2030. Included on the regular agenda tonight is approval of the budget, approval of the general fund capital contribution transfer. That's $4 million to the capital improvement fund, $1.5 million to the golf course fund for the irrigation system, then $1 million to the water and sewer capital fund, and then the water and sewer rate adjustment that we talked about in the fee resolution. So that's what's on the agenda tonight. Happy to take any questions.
We'll start with a motion, and then I'll see if there's any questions or comments. So is there a motion to recommend?
Second.
By trustee Garner, second by trustee Thorstensen. Any comments or questions to my left? Comments or questions to my right? Yes, trustee Thorstensen.
I know we're on a timeline, so you don't have to answer it now, Brian, but maybe in future administrator notes or things like that, if you could just refresh our memory in terms of for example, the Lake Com contract or you said the sheriff budget line. Is that can we anticipate that year over year the cost would go up by a CPI or something like that?
It will go up every year. That board will get together and decide what the expenses should be. But I would anticipate it would go up every year by the CPI. But I could certainly check. I think next year's was a 4% increase over last year. So I would anticipate it to go up every year to maintain buying power and based on what happens. Now, obviously, a mix of new members or something like that could change that, but that board will get together and decide.
I'm looking at it like a vendor pass-through cost, so we'd have to know what they're going to do on their budget.
Right.
And again, you don't have to answer this. The second one is similar for the water bill. I know we are the lowest water bill, the lowest community charging the water bill expense, but I know that CLC Jawa increases theirs by some factor as well. So I imagine ours will go up minimally by the factor they're increasing.
Yeah, so Jawa has a multi-year rate plan, and I want to say they have 3 more years of 5% increases. So the 2.7 is inclusive of that. So really, the portion that ours is going up is less than 2.7 because Jawa's taken 5% of that.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Oh, public comment.
Aye.
Oh, that's right.
What?
If there's any public comment with regard to this item, with regards to the budget. All right. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6-8.
Right. Passes to the regular hearing during our village board meeting. So on to the 6:30 public hearing to consider contributing $45,000 towards new restrooms and electrical expenses and $30,000 towards rental assistance over a period of 3 years to allow redevelopment and renovation of 5330 Grand Avenue, Suite A, Gurnee, Dandelion Art Gallery and Studios, NFP, Inc.
Sure. So,
Alan?
Turn. The first thing, we're going to another one, right?
During the public hearing.
Adjourn and start again.
and start another public hearing, right?
You can make, yes,
Yeah.
you can make a quick call.
Sure. Right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Ballmer, second by trustee O'Brien. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Awesome.
on to Christine.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We have two public hearings tonight. I couldn't be more pleased to introduce both of these new businesses to town. Even in a community like ours with over 1,200 businesses of every type and stripe, we come across sometimes those that are unique and we don't have, and they fill a perfect niche for the community, and these two certainly fit that description. So starting with Dandelion Art Gallery and Studios. Dandelion is a 501c3 corporation founded in 2011, so it's been around a while, located in downtown Waukegan in this beautiful building right on the Waukegan River, which they make even more beautiful by what they do inside that building. The vitality they bring to it with exhibitions and classes and wellness services, workshops, rental of studio space, and events. Waukegan is at the heart of the downtown arts district. They're a major active participant in Art Walk, engaged with the city, the schools, and local organizations. They're also the home base for alliances of artists and performers that actually collaborate, I guess, to sell their art, perform their art, as well as giving back to the community. So we have been working with Dandelion for about a year and a half. They approached us in the fall of 2024 regarding a search for new space that's precipitated by the planned reconstruction of the Genesee Street Bridge, which happens to be right outside their front door. So their preference for finding new space is not necessarily to replace that space, but to support it and augment it during that time of restricted access. So we were impressed, I guess, by that approach, their commitment to remaining in Waukegan and serving that community, as well as growing by bringing more of their artist work to Gurnee. Just felt to us like the right sort of orientation, the community partnership that we would be looking for if we were in that position. So it was very inspirational. As Mayor Hood was forming his Gurnee Arts Commission, this was while we were having these conversations, and it was a really nice collaboration to talk about that with Dandelion. So the search for sites around town took us to all parts of town. East, middle, and west. We looked at sites everywhere. But ultimately, Dandelion settled on Northern Light Shopping Center, which is the large center you see here across from Six Flags, right in the core of our retail and tourism area, near the tollway. You might recall there's a large vacant space right in the middle of this center that was originally a grocery store and was most recently occupied by Computer Systems Institute. It's been vacant for 10 years, and it is a challenging space. It's too deep for most retail uses, as you can kind of tell from this picture how deep that space runs, and you can picture a grocery store and how deep that is. Most retail users can't use that kind of depth. So you end up with these long, narrow hallways that run the whole depth of the building, chopped up by individual classrooms that CSI was using. So it's challenging, and it needs some modification. But working with the current owners, who are fairly new in the last few years, and with significant help from ComDev, we've crafted a plan, or really Dandelion has crafted a plan with our staff's help to carve out 5,000 or so square feet out of that 30,000 plus square foot space. So the planned work includes structural modification to create gallery space, construction of new restroom facilities, and installation of electrical infrastructure. The total anticipated construction budget for all that is over $100,000. So staff is proposing that the village assist with a direct contribution for construction of $45,000, payable as we always do on a reimbursement basis after the work is completed and paid for by the business and the business is open. So the start of construction in this case is required by September 1st, and completion is required by June 1st of next year. But this may move more quickly depending on the timeline that they can negotiate with the landlord. And in order to assist with the higher occupancy costs, which is their rent and their common area maintenance in this type of a multi-tenant center, significantly more than what they're footing in Waukegan, we are proposing a direct contribution for assistance in that regard toward occupancy of $10,000 per year for each of the 3 years of their lease. That can be extended by the parties should that be requested in the future, but right now it's a 3-year term The combined of those two tranches is $75,000 for the construction and the occupancy. So Dandelion envisions this new space as a multidisciplinary arts hub, and it's part of the way that they support their artists, and they create new ways for the communities to grow and contribute. And there's really no one better to share that than the president and co-founder, Deanna Cruz. We're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Cruz, would you
Hello.
like to talk to us? Yes, welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Well, let me just start off by saying I acquired this about 5 years ago, and I created into a 501c3 where we make a creative difference in our communities. And what may have started off something that supported artists and helping them thrive has evolved. Now we are providing art, cultural experiences, and creative wellness, which is alternative healing. We expound even beyond our space. We are in schools, we're in libraries, we are doing festivals, we are part of advocacy groups. We are at the head of the table and talking about healing in different ways because there's stigma and systematic failures, and there's all these other things that we're trying to have more of a creative approach of how we're bringing everybody together. And ultimately, the organization helps unite, empower, and cultivate the good in us. This space is meant to provide all of what Ellen shared, but also immersive experiences. It is supposed to have a safe haven for everybody, artists in the community, but even beyond the doors in which we are in, it is meant to enrich the community in different ways so they leave out of the space feeling empowered, feeling passionate, feeling like there's hope. And that's what we have given everybody in our community and everybody that we have connected with, is that there's more that art could give. And we just do this, like I said, in a very creative way. Now for Gurnee, we're a 501c3. Forgive me, I wrote this down, it's much better. Our impact is reflected in differently than our impact. I'm sorry. While we operate as a 501c3, our impact is reflected differently than traditional tax generation businesses. Through our programming, events, and exhibitions, and our services for economic development, beautification of our community, and beyond, the programming and all of that, we actively drive foot traffic, support surrounding businesses, and contribute to the local economy in meaningful ways. In Waukegan alone, we are tax exempt. Our presence has helped increase activity in the downtown area, contributing to the growth and energy of the local artist district. Visitors often dine, shop, and engage with neighboring establishments before and after attending our events. Additionally, many of the programs and partnerships indirectly contribute to taxable revenue streams through collaborations, vendors' participation, and community-based initiatives. As a steward throughout Waukegan and beyond, we have built a strong network of support providing consultation advocacy, actively participating in board community development conversations, and more. Our work extends into festivals, large-scale engagements that bring people together, activate spaces, and further stimulate local economic and cultural vitality. We believe that with our center serving as a dynamic hub for talent across Lake County and neighboring communities, we have the opportunity to help shape Gurnee into a thriving cultural and art destination, one where creativity, commerce, and community intersect. Through the arts, we don't just create experiences. We activate spaces, draw a diverse audience, and cultivate energy that extends beyond our walls. Visitors come for exhibitions, performances, workshops, education, and to be healed. but stay to explore, dine, shop, and engage with broader community. By weaving together artists and entrepreneurs and families and partners, we contribute to the ecosystem that fuels both cultural richness and economic vitality, again. So that's what we want to bring to Gurnee. It will bring not only artists and talent, but it would bring people between Chicago and Milwaukee here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So is there anybody from the public that would like to make a comment specific with this? It would have to be with reference to this particular item? Sure. Ma'am, you'd have to step up to the microphone and state your name. Right.
I live at Gurnee Meadows, and I'm on the 3rd floor, and my apartment faces that building, and there's a gym right next to that. We listen to that gym all day and all night, and I don't want it to affect us. I think it's a great idea.
Ma'am, you have to talk to us, okay?
I think it's an awesome idea to do that, but go over there and listen to the noise. That I don't want them to interfere with the gallery. It is unbelievable, and I've called the police many times to get them to settle down because I can't even open my windows in the summertime. The noise is horrific coming out of that gym. It's crazy. So, but I think it's a great idea, but I don't know how you can buffer the wall so you don't have to listen to that.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to make a comment? It would have to be on this specific issue. Okay.
I can swear you in since it's a public hearing. Please raise your right hand. Yeah. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Sean Klacky. I am also I'm one of the artists for Dandelion Gallery, and I just thought I'd speak about this. Yes, I am an artist, and I have many more jobs and talents: community volunteer, public author, elected official, and most important, stay-at-home dad for the past 20 years. But I have always been an artist all my life. I joke that the left side of my brain is dormant, while the right side is the creative side is always getting stronger. I believe every community deserves to have a large artistic culture in it. But be it through murals, plays, classes, interactive events, the arts are very important for people during these crazy times we live in. We at the Dandelion Gallery and with the Artists Alliance have brought the largest mural in Mundelein. We've enhanced the festival in Zion, and now we would like to bring our art culture to the village of Gurnee. We're very excited to jumpstart the right side of your brain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public that would like to speak about this issue? All right, there being none, so the floor is closed to the public, and at this point, is there a motion?
So move.
Second by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee O'Brien. Any discussion to my right, or comments or questions? Trustee O'Brien?
2 questions. Will this make the other 25,000 square feet more marketable, or is it chopped up in a weird way?
Thank you for asking that. I believe it will. Certainly the additional restrooms and some of the electrical infrastructure, it's being built for Dandelion. They're building it for themselves, but the restrooms could potentially, at least in the future, if not during the term of this lease. So I think that between Rise, which is expanded, and this, we're sort of coming to the middle, and probably, honestly, everything that's done to the building makes the remainder a little more marketable. I think that's why the owner is so willing to work with us, is because it has sat vacant for so long. So it certainly won't hurt the situation.
Thank you. And then one other, if I may. After the bridge is finished, for 3 years, is the intent to still be in Gurnee to have 2 locations?
So I will let Ms. Cruz address that, but I think that may have evolved as they've thought about it initially. Yes?
We hope to stay here long term. Yeah. This will be a little bit different from what we have in Waukegan. Waukegan is a small studio, that's dedicated for more exhibitions and I guess you could say education that is less in price. So that way we could serve those that may not have the ability to pay. Whereas this is more immersive, so more performance-based talent will be in this space. So a little bit different, something that we have not seen around here. And then again, this is meant for Lake County, whereas we're serving those in that primary area, but we hope that more talent comes from a wide range within Lake County and the neighboring counties.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Trustee Thorson?
Yeah, hi, 2 quick questions. Has there been discussion that our Gurnee Art Commission would hopefully work out of your facility?
Am I?
Well, I would say we are, Dandelion at every stage has sort of put forth the message that they would like to be a welcoming space for artists of all kinds. I think that probably includes our Arts Commission to a large degree.
Yes. We hope to help support them. Now, with the bylaws, I'm not really exactly sure if we could be active in supporting or act as a right hand. But many of the artists that actually sit on the board are also associated with our coalition in making a creative difference in the community. So whatever we could do, we are meant to act as an extension and obviously provide our space. Yep.
Great, and the second question is, I know it's a not-for-profit, but then I've also heard you say maybe our price for classes out here in Gurnee might be higher than what you'd offer in Waukegan. So do you consider yourself like a model of X% revenue, X%?
No, so with Waukegan, we will separate them. Waukegan generates its own revenue based on our rentals, based on the services that we provide there, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, the rental space between the exhibitions, between the artists that actually exhibit there, between the artists that are dedicated in educating the community or acting as counselors or whatever that looks like, that is meant to serve that space. Whatever is generated in the Gurnee space, based off, we look at overall of like what makes sense for the community and what they can pay for. Overall, we look at it like a pot of money and how we could expand and serve for a greater good. But hopefully that answers your question. The space in Gurnee will have the performance-based art and will generate its own revenue based off rentals, based off the artists that are exhibiting there, and even those that may be coming from another country that want to do a full exhibition and provide a different range of art. That's what we're hoping to get in this space so that we expound the creative identity of what maybe those are not exposed to. So hopefully that answers the question. Whatever we could generate, we try to make it where it's relatively feasible for the overall community so that they could experience it.
That's great. I'm excited for you joining us. I know the community's always been talking about having to go to Adler in Libertyville to have some type of art or cultural experience, whether primarily for their children. So it's nice that we've got this here now.
Thank you.
Questions to my left? Their comments? Trustee Balmas?
How often do you anticipate these exhibitions to be changed and satisfied?
So in Waukegan right now, we change every single month. For the exhibitions in Gurnee, how the space is worked right now, there's a full showroom that will be for the immersive experience, where they would have art within the space. Then there is 4 individual classrooms. One will be primarily for therapy, and then the other spaces would be able to rotate. We're looking at possibly doing it every 3 months, at least within that primary showroom, because the immersive will have a 360 show that is part of the rotating art, if that makes sense. But to answer your question, between 2 to 3 months that we're looking at.
And there are fees involved in exhibiting and fees upon entrance, or how is How are you
Yes.
funding yourself? Because we're not funding the entire event, obviously, so.
Right, right. So there's multiple ways of generating income. There's membership fees for the artists, there's educational fees, there's performance-based fees when we have our performances. There's also, again, more of our education, and then there's rentals. So we would rent our space out between, weddings all the way to traditional settings, maybe even acknowledgements, graduations, and things like that. What this space will also have, we already have our gala in Waukegan. We would have our fundraising events also in the space because we do a lot of fundraising too. Field trips to, the other thing is we would offer even awards. So Lake County doesn't have a space that acknowledges any performance-based organizations or artists in Lake County. That will be one of the largest, I would say, award ceremonies that would help generate income. Even those that shows, so let's say the Weavers Guild is usually in Minnesota. This is something that they could bring to the Chicago area, which would be in our space because we are a creative space that they're looking for a space in. They would pay during that duration of the exhibition. But there's different ways to generate income that has worked for us over the past 6 years that we've been able to maintain. We're going to be doing this on a larger scale, if that makes sense, in this space.
And how much of the space is dedicated to performance versus the exhibitions?
I can't tell you off the top of my head how large that space is because we're removing a wall, but it's a larger space and we're lifting the ceiling so that where there could be performance or even coming from the ceiling. But I'm not sure at this time. I can't think of the top of my head. But maybe my trustee Sean here, because he has the blueprint, could share that. Would you like to see the blueprint, by the way?
I didn't know if that was included in your packet.
Yeah, not at this point. No.
Okay. This would be.
I mean, in Waukegan, you also utilize other buildings for some of your exhibits, or you have
Right.
past.
Can I bring this up to you so you could take a look?
Well,
I'd rather
sure,
not.
at some
Okay,
point.
to that point.
sorry. I can't tell off the top right now how large it is. Yeah, but it's a pretty big space for the primary showroom and the performance space art. I'm sorry, I just don't have that. I don't have the full square footage at this time.
Yes, good?
May I?
Oh, sure.
I
Trustee
had the
Gurnee.
opportunity to visit the Waukegan space, and both times I thought it was impressive, and I enjoyed myself. So excited to see something like that in Gurnee. I think we need it.
Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
We're just moving this forward at this point? Yes, aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Six aye.
Motion carries. So at this point, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Ross. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. On to the last public hearing to consider rebating a percentage of combined sales, home rule sales, and food and beverage tax up to a maximum of $100,000 over 5 years, and contributing up to $50,000 towards kitchen build-out and capital expenses to allow redevelopment and renovation of 3430 Grand Avenue, Gurnee, Big B Coffee.
Thank you, Mayor. In the interest of time, would you like me to skip ahead to the agreement terms and summarize those during the public hearing portion? And no? Okay, good. Go ahead. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. So this agreement is with Beyond Espresso LLC, doing business as Big B Coffee, store 1286, Big B is a chain that many of us might not be familiar with, but it's a rapidly growing American coffee house franchise founded in 1995 in East Lansing, Michigan, where it is still headquartered, and concentrated heavily in the Midwest, now with 450 locations in 13 states, particularly Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, but very few in Illinois, fewer than a dozen. And our Big B, that we're going to talk about, will be the first one in Lake County. So Big B is a community-oriented cafe. They offer dozens of varieties of specialty lattes, smoothies, energy drinks, coffees, and teas, complemented by a light food menu of bagel-based sandwiches and bakery items, retail sales of coffee, and themed merchandise. Sal and Dana Zachariah, residents of Gurnee, moved here in 2017 to raise their family and put down roots. So fast forward to today, their daughters are 9 and 12 in school at Woodland, and they're ready to start their own business, and they want it to reflect what they're passionate about, which is a coffee shop appealing to all ages, from their kids' ages to theirs and, maybe mine, in the community that they call home. So there are many options, as you know, out there for popular coffee brands, and many communities that would welcome them. So we're very fortunate that the Zacharias have decided to bring the first one to Gurnee. So in their search for sites, and it started on the west side of town, but very early in our conversation, we shifted the focus to the east side of town, where really we need a greater variety of food and beverage options, and we believe that this type of use will be welcomed by the residents. And I think that they're feeling that already as they proceed with the space, and they're very excited to be part of that neighborhood. That building at 3430 has recently changed ownership, and the vacancies are being marketed. The end cap space, formerly occupied by Jimmy John's, which is the Unit 100, is equipped with the drive-through, but the further build-out of the kitchen is really necessary to serve the types of food that they serve, and also to accommodate a complete remodel of the dining room to match the brand standards of Big B's, and the total project construction budget for that is $370,000. So in order to support the Zacharias' choice of this location in particular, staff is proposing that the village offer a three-pronged incentive that includes a waiver of the building permit fees, as well as their first-year business license fee, a direct contribution for construction toward that 370 number of $50,000 on our part, reimbursable once the work is complete and they have opened, and a rebate of sales tax and food and beverage tax, which is a stream that we don't normally rebate. But in this case, given where it's at and given the fact that we need food and beverage, we really want that for the neighborhood, it felt appropriate to add that in. So a combined maximum of all of those three streams of $100,000 or 5 years, whichever comes first. And in exchange, their operating commitment to us is 5 years, which is the term of their initial lease. We certainly hope and anticipate it'll be many more than that, but the initial lease is 5 years. So the timeline in the proposed redevelopment agreement allows for a June 1st start of construction and a September 1st completion. However, they're already running ahead of that. Demolition is underway, and they've indicated they'd like to open in July. So I think the neighborhood's going to be very excited about that timeline right in the middle of the summer. So with us this evening is our Sal and Dana Zachariah, and I'm sure available to answer any questions that the board might have, as am I. Thank you.
Sal, if you'd like to come up and just say a few words if you'd like.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and introduce ourselves and give us an opportunity to start our business. Like Alan said, we moved to Gurnee in 2017. We decided to start our family and raise our 2 daughters in Gurnee. We like the community here, and we wanted to be part of it. Moving forward, they are 12 and 9. They grow fast. We've always been passionate about coffee shop, me and my wife, Dana. And we always dreamed about owning our own coffee shop. And as we looked at a lot of options, we settled on Big B Coffee. They are heavily in Michigan and Indiana, and we've been in their cafes many times. We like the vibes, we like the environment, we like the selection. And when we started talking to them, we kind of liked that they do a lot of things for the community, a lot of fundraising, a lot of local employment, and they have a lot of kind of forcing and contracts about these things. So we've settled on that franchisee with them. And with Ellen's help, she directed us towards the east side of Gurnee, which we weren't looking at actually at all because we're on the west side and we kind of heavily, like, we're looking there everywhere. And she told us about that building, and we started camping there and see how is the traffic, how are these things, and we look at the businesses there. And sure enough, we found that there is a lack of this type of business over there. So we wanted to have the opportunity to start our dream over there and be part of the community there, local employment, fundraising, whatever we can do, be part of the community that we are actually part of it too. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity and your time.
Thank you, Sal. Was there anybody from the public that would like to make a statement regarding this issue? Right. You please raise your right hand.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Becky Kutsinas. I live at 907 Belle Plaine. Just wanted to say thanks, Ellen, for directing towards East Gurnee. And I wanted to thank each of you for considering contribution to redevelopment of brown land in East Gurnee. And thank you so much for supporting the arts, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Swear to tell the truth.
Yes. I'm Debbie Hazelton. I live at 1601 Belle Plaine. I've been on the east side for over 40 years, and I'm a regular at the Starbucks, and I'm really tired of the lines there and stuff. I'm really looking forward to a coffee shop on our side of town, and I'll be a regular customer there. I think it'd be a great thing, and I hope the village approves anything to get this over there. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Floor is closed to the public, and at this point, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Thorstensen, second by Trustee Ross. Any comments or questions? Am I right? Am I left? No. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Aye.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 aye.
This will go on to the regular village board meeting, which is going to happen in a few moments, and at that point, there'll be another vote to whether or not it'll be approved. So if you could please stay.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. We'll take, go for it. We're going to go for it. All right. So on to the Gurnee Village Board regular meeting of April 6, 2026. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Present.
Thorstensen.
Here.
Woodside.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Aye. Here.
Present.
All right. We'll all stand together for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the first part of the village board meeting is a public comment. These comments are with reference to items that are on the agenda. So anybody that would like to step to the microphone and make a statement, you can do that at this point. All right, there being none, on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 aye.
Motion carries. Pat?
Sure. So just one correction before I read the consent agenda. Item 7, bonfires and brews is on May 2nd, not the 12th. So when the application came in, it had the wrong date on it, so that'll be May 2nd, 2026. So item number 1, approval of the minutes of the March 16th, 2026 meeting. And number 2, approval of ordinance 2026-12, reallocating 2026 volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2026-13, authorizing execution of a professional services agreement with Soil and Material Consultants, Inc. for engineering services for material testing for the village's 2026 resurfacing, Fuller Road reconstruction, and Estes water main replacement project. Item number 4, approval of Public Works Department request to waive the formal bidding process and purchase 57 pints of Triage R10 insecticide from Grand Arbor Group at a cost of $26,265.66, Emerald Ash Board treatment supplies. Item number 5, approval of contract extension with TKG Sweeping Services, Inc. for the 2026 through 2028 street sweeping services at a total contract cost of $231,657. Item number 6, approval of Administration Department recommendation of a 1-year contract extension with Skyward Building Services for Village Hall, Public Works, and Police Department janitorial services at a total cost of $69,768. Item number 7, approval of granting a Class 9 liquor license and waiving the fee for the Exchange Club of Gurnee for the following events and dates. A, Bonfires and Brews, May 2nd, 2026. B, Sounds of Summer Concerts, June 11th and 25th. July 9th and 23rd, August 13th, 2026. C, America's 250th celebration, July 2nd, 2026. And D, Gurnee Days, August 7th through 9th, 2026. Item number 8, approval of payroll for period ending March 20th, 2026 in amount of $1,014,915.07. Item 9, approval of bills for period ending August 6th, 2026 in the amount of $1,472,952.53.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 aye.
Motion carries. No petitions and communications, no reports, no old business. On to new business. Item number 1. Approval of ordinance 2026-14, approving the annual budget of the Village of Gurnee, County of Lake, State of Illinois for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2026 and ending April 30th, 2027.
Sure. So this was the topic of our 6:15 public hearing, the 2026-2027 budget. So we discussed capital back in December and January. Had our first budget workshop in early March. During the public hearing, Finance Director Gosno went over the changes to the budget since the March workshop. The general fund net change of 0, and that fund just moving some money around related to Gurnee Days, some education initiatives, and then reduce some bank fees. In the capital improvement fund, we had a net change increase of $490,000, mainly related to the Village Hall renovation budget. So we bumped that up $250,000. We're going to hopefully get some pricing here over the summer and fall and start that after the first of the year, focusing on the public areas. So the public restrooms, the hallway, the community room, and the council chambers, get that knocked down and then worry about the employee areas afterwards. Also in the capital fund, moved some funding related to the Route 21 engages lake sidewalk improvement. So we had money in for this year to do that project. We're shifting that to next year. And then also some engineering consultant fees, $70,000, reduced some year-end estimates this year and shifted that to next year. So those are the changes from the March budget workshop. Again, the budget, general funds balanced, no property tax, continue to rely on sales tax, amusement tax, hotel tax, lowest water rate in Jawa, hardly any debt. Largest capital program in the village's history. So from staff perspective, all good news to the community, so it is now ready for consideration.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee
Second.
Ross, second by trustee Garner. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 ayes.
The budget is approved. So I would just say, congratulations, Pat and Brian especially, for leading us through, and also for staff for making this, believe it or not, an enjoyable process. That I think as we sit here tonight, it's really nice to not have to be arguing over dollars and cents at this point, that you've really explained it well to us, and I'm really excited to see how well Gurnee's doing, and that's, I'll give credit to God, but I want to give credit to you guys for all the hard work you've put in to make this happen, so thanks. Item 2, approval of ordinance 2026.
15.
Amending Chapter 32, Article 2, Section 38 of the Gurnee Municipal Code pertaining to the comprehensive fee schedule. Pat?
Sure. So every year in conjunction with the budget, we update the fee schedule if it needs it. This year, just one update, and that is the water and sewer rates. So again, bumping them by a very small percentage, 2.7%. Again, lowest water cost in Jawa. For the average household using 10,000 gallons over a 2-month period, the rate change will result in bi-monthly, so every time you get your bill, increase of $2.57, or an annual increase of $15.42. So proud of that we're able to keep the water rates low, and again, this is really just to keep up with the CPI. So that was the only change in the fee schedule for this upcoming fiscal year.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Thorstenson, second by trustee Garner. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Motion carries. Item 3, approval of ordinance 2026,
16.
authorizing the transfer of funds from the general fund to the capital improvement fund, water and sewer capital improvement fund, and the golf course fund. Pat?
Sure. So also usually a part of the budget process here due to conservative budgeting and then the performance of our revenues. Typically have some surplus left over at the end of the fiscal year that we use for the capital program 2 years in the future. So at the end of 24-25, we had $6.5 million in surplus left over. Even with this transfer, we're still above our policy limit as far as the general fund reserve. Staff proposes, and this was built into the capital presentation and also the budget presentation, to use $4 million for the capital improvement program for water and sewer projects, $1.5 million towards the golf course fund to help with the irrigation replacement that's going to take place this fall, and then $1 million to the water and sewer capital fund to help design future water main replacement projects. So in the past, we've looked at the water main replacement schedule, so again, trying to smooth that out, so this helps the village engineer get a head start on that, so we can have those projects planned out, get the permitting in place, and then when the funding becomes available and it makes sense from a timing standpoint, hit the ground running on those replacements. So again, even with this, above our 65% general fund reserve policy limit.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Balmas, second by trustee O'Brien. Any questions or comments to my left? Right. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Carries. Item 4, approval of ordinance 2026,
17.
approving a redevelopment agreement between the Village of Gurnee and Dandelion Art Gallery and Studios NFP, Inc. for property located at 5330 Grand Avenue, Gurnee, Illinois. Pat?
Sure. So this was the topic of our 6:30 public hearing. Economic Development Director Ellen Dean gave us our presentation, reviewed it. I'll give a quick summary. So Dandelion Art Gallery, located in Waukegan, has been looking for some additional space. So I worked with Ellen, looked at multiple sites around town, landed on the Computer Systems Institute building across from Six Flags back behind Burger King. That spot's been vacant for 10 years, so we're excited to get somebody in there and using a portion of that. They're looking to take about 5,000 square feet of that. To assist them with that, worked with the village on an incentive agreement. The incentive agreement is in the form of waiving the building permit fees related to the project, direct contribution of $45,000 for restroom and electrical work, and then 3 years of rental assistance at $10,000 a year. So As you know, the feedback from the community is they'd like to have more arts, more art opportunities in the community. The mayor formed the Art Commission. That's hit the ground running and is working on bumping up those, but this is, again, fits in with that nicely, brings something that the community's wanted for a while, and fills a vacant space. So hopefully breathe some life back into that area over there, and was discussed during the public hearing. A lot of those patrons that they serve in Waukegan that come to the location spend their dollars at nearby businesses, so hopefully that's the case here as well.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Thorstensen, second by trustee Ross. Any questions or comments to my right? My left? Trustee Balmas?
I would be very excited about this, and I certainly am very fond of art and believe in it. I'm a little uncomfortable with expenses involved, so I have my reservations at this time.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you, Mayor.
Trustee Woodside?
It is worth noting that this is a departure from the typical investment in the capital improvement and redevelopment grants. It is a little more difficult, perhaps, to measure the return on investment with something like this than it is in the typical, in all of the others seen here. But I think that it is a smart investment in responding to what the community wants, add value to the community, and I hope that it is something that lasts beyond the 3 years of the life of the term, that it's the beginning of a long-term relationship. But I do acknowledge that it is different, and it's a move in a direction to invest differently in our community, but I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Nay.
Thorstensen.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
5 aye, 1 nay.
Motion carries. So, Dandelion Art Gallery and Studios, welcome to the Village of Gurnee. It's a pleasure. I just want to say thank you to Ellen and Matt for your assistance along the way. I know it's been a long and arduous process at times, but it's well worth it now that you guys are here in Gurnee. I look forward to big things from you and just all the things that can be brought to Gurnee through your business. So thanks again for taking the time and believing in Gurnee. So thanks. Okay, on to number 5, approval of ordinance 2026.
18.
Approving a redevelopment agreement between the Village of Gurnee and Beyond Espresso LLC for property located at 3430 Grand Avenue, Gurnee, Illinois. Pat?
Sure. So this was the topic of our 640 public hearing. Again, Economic Development Director Dean ran through a presentation. I'll give you the highlights. So Big B Coffee, a national franchise founded in 1995 in Michigan. Today has over 450 locations in 13 states, but relatively new to Illinois, with less than a dozen here. Gurnee residents Sal and Dana Zachariah obtained the franchise, have been looking to open a coffee shop for some time. Worked with Ellen. We're looking at spaces around town, mainly focusing on the west side. She shifted their direction to the east side to the 3500 East Grand Avenue, which recently changed ownership. Jimmy John's space in there has been vacant for quite some time and meets our needs. So again, worked with them to help them out as far as some incentives. They're looking at construction costs estimated $370,000. The village's portion is the waiver of the building permit fees and the first-year business license, a direct contribution of $50,000 for the construction expenses, and then rebating 100% of the state shared sales tax and 50% of the home rule and 50% of the food and beverage tax up to $100,000 over 5 years. In conjunction with that, they've agreed to operate at this location for a minimum of 5 years. So again, a long-time vacant space on the east side. You know, the drive-through there makes it nice. It's, again, something we've heard from the public as far as getting a coffee shop over there. So fits in nicely with what the village is looking for and what the residents are looking for over there.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee O'Brien,
Second.
second by trustee Ross. Comments or questions to my right? Or to my left? Everybody likes coffee, apparently. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Garner,
Aye.
6-0.
Welcome to the Village of Gurnee. Glad you picked us, and we look forward to your coffee in just a few months, right? Okay. Thank you. On to 6, approval of ordinance 2026,
19.
approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Village of Gurnee and the Warren-Waukegan Fire Protection District of Lake County, Illinois. Pat?
Sure. So Villages had a relationship with the Fire Protection District that dates back to the 1930s. First contract was approved in 1977, with the most recent set to expire on April 30th. So over the past few months, Chief Kavanaugh has been working with the Fire District on reviewing the contract and making any necessary changes. Both sides have been very happy with the contract, the relationship. The Fire District's very happy with the service it receives from the Fire Department. The most significant change in this contract relates to ambulance billing. We were having issues with the ambulance billing company as far as how things are coded. They were splitting into 6 different cost centers, and on occasion there would be funds that they thought were the village that were supposed to be the fire protection districts. Then we get into accounting issues, spending a lot of staff time working on that. So Gurnee proposed that we just retain all the ambulance billing collection revenue and then offset the contract by that dollar amount. So took a look at a 3-year average of the district's ambulance billing revenue. That was $733,894. So we took the expiring contract amount, put 3% on top of that, and then removed that 3-year average. So that takes the contract amount to $3,066,775 for the first year. So that was the only change. We'll continue to monitor that ambulance billing revenue to see if it goes up or down, continue to use averages, so both sides remain whole from that regard. So that was the biggest change. The district board approved the contract at their regularly scheduled meeting on March 18th, and it's before you for consideration. So 3-year contract again.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Balmas.
Second.
Second by trustee Garner. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Torstenson.
Aye.
Woodside. Aye. Ross,
Aye.
Garner,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Item 7, approval of ordinance 2026.
20.
Amending Chapter 18, Article 8 of the Gurnee Municipal Code, adopting the 2024 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code with modifications. Pat?
Sure, had a memo from our Assistant Community Development Director, Jake Litz, on this. So you remember back in December, we adopted a number of ICC codes. They're standard for building codes in the industry. We were previously operating under the 2012 codes. They update them every couple of years. We keep an eye on that, but hadn't done a full-fledged update in a number of years. So got that taken care of. At that time, we said there would be some additional codes that staff would be looking at and potentially bringing forward to the village board for consideration, and this is one of them. So the International Property Code with Gurnee-specific amendments. As we did with the other codes, we're adopting it by reference versus pasting in the municipal code. So then something is updated in that, it's updated by reference. The Property Maintenance Code establishes clear enforceable standards for the maintenance of structures, premises, basic equipment, fire safety, heating, sanitation, and other factors that affect the health and safety of our residents. So the proposed modifications that we worked into it are what we currently have in place. We would like to continue with them. Relates to the maximum height of 8 inches for plant growth or weeds. Insect screens, we removed the section that requires them, so you don't have to have screens on every single one of your windows. And then the last two relate to heat from October 1st to April 30th. So just maintaining, landlords have to maintain 68 degrees in habitable rooms. And then as it relates to occupiable workspaces, those have to be a minimum at 65 degrees from April 1st to April 30th. So those 4 tweaks as it relates specifically to Gurnee and our current operations, otherwise adopting the International Property Maintenance Code as written by the ICC.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee O'Brien. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Item 8, approval of ordinance 2026.
21.
Authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with IMEG for engineering services for the 2026 MFT road resurfacing project. Pat?
Sure. So every year, due to staffing challenges back in the engineering division, we typically hire some contract engineers to assist us with overseeing programs. So made some progress back in engineering, had another engineer start, so we're up to 3 if you include Nick, and then we have another one scheduled to start in June, but he'll be pretty green, so just coming out of school. So based on the size of the road resurfacing program this year, which is 5.5 miles, and then we've got 1.5 miles of water main, they're requesting some assistance, so staff is asking to use IMEG for the MFT road resurfacing program. I've used IMEG in the past, had good success with them, good working relationship. They provided a not-to-exceed cost of $250,000 based on what we think our needs will be, but they only bill for the actual hours used, so that'll be the max, typically come in underneath. Money has been included in next year's budget.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Baumus, second by trustee Garner. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6-0.
Carries. Item 9, approval of ordinance 2026.
22.
Authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Kimley Horn for engineering services for the Estes Region Water Main Replacement Project. Pat?
So same deal. This is for the water main project, though, over on the Estes area. Again, I've used Kimley Horn in the past to oversee some projects, so looking to use them again. They have provided a not-to-exceed of $175,000, and again, it'll only be actual hours that we used is what will be billed.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ross, second by trustee Thorstenson. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Item 10, approval of ordinance 2026.
23.
Authorizing the execution of a renewal agreement with Paladin Drones, Inc. to provide equipment and services for a drone as a first responder program. Pat?
Sure. So last April, the village board approved an agreement with Paladin for the police department's drone as a first responder program. The drone's at Station 1 and has proven itself invaluable to the police department. So I had there's some stats in the memo from Chief Gahn. So since August of 2025, for the 2025 year, 380 flights, 958 miles, and 70 hours of flight time. 2026 to date, as of a couple weeks ago, 75 flights, 215 miles, and over 13 hours of flight time. So it's been effective as far as locating people, helping with Gurnee days and other community events, identifying some retail theft suspects. They just had it out over the weekend looking for a juvenile that had walked away from home and shouldn't have, and found that individual pretty quick. So again, used almost on a daily basis, if not a daily basis. We had a couple months ago approved an agreement with Flock to potentially try out their drones. Looked into that some more, talked to Paladin some more. We're going to hold off on that. The chief is recommending to have another 1-year extension with Paladin. This agreement gets us improved drone and then also a different docking system for it. So had some issues early on with the docking system at Station 1, so this is an upgraded docking system as well. So $10,000 credit for trading on that equipment, and then the total contract the first year is, or for this 1-year extension, $65,000, of which $24,000 is a one-time equipment cost. So if we renew for another year, we won't have that one-time cost in there. So police department included the funding in their budget. They continue to see what other vendors have out there as far as drone technology. But like everything else, it's just changing so quickly on a daily basis. So they feel that this upgrade from Paladin for the next year is good, is what they need, and they'll continue to keep an eye on what other options are out there as they move forward.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee O'Brien. Any questions or comments? Trustee O'Brien?
I recognize the value of this flock. It does amazing things. Just a question. I don't remember, did we just approve buying something else? And does this one communicate with flock or with the other ones that we just bought?
They use the same software, so our other drones, the ones that the officers take out in a box and can deploy from their car, along with the drone that we can send inside a house that can bounce off walls, that uses all the same software and can be fed to officers' screens.
Oh, that's great. So the manufacturer doesn't matter because they use the same software, right?
Well, the manufacturer does matter. As long as they integrate with the drones and it's a secure link between the officers and the software and the hardware. Say that right, Ryan?
Thanks.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Carries. Item 11, approval of Police Department request to purchase 7 2026 Chevrolet Tahoes four-wheel drive PPV police interceptors from Miles Chevrolet at a cost of $416,528. Police Department units 145, 146, 147, 150, 151, 152, and 178. Pat.
Sure. So this is the annual police department squad replacement. Miles Chevrolet has a state bid for them. There was some information in the memo from the fleet administrator, Craig Lambrick, as far as the mileage and the equivalent engine hours on the cars. So when you look at the vehicles, the average engine hours on them is about 17,000. So again, these vehicles are running almost all the time to keep the computers and everything up and going. And when you translate that to miles, the conversion is for every 1 engine hour equates to 33 miles on the vehicle. So when you look at it from that perspective, these vehicles have an average of 561,000 miles on them each. So again, police department works where they can to reduce the engine hour time on them, but just the general nature of policing the vehicles are running a lot. So the new squads are proposed to be Tahoes, which we've used with good success. When we have an opportunity to roll these down to somebody else in the village, typically the community development department, we do that. They're in okay shape right now, so these vehicles will be sent to auction. This is just the purchase of the squads. At a later date, we'll be coming forward with the actual upfitting of the vehicles. So both the chassis purchases and the upfitting has been included in the budget that was approved earlier on the agenda.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Ross, second by Trustee O'Brien. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Carries. Item 12, approval of Public Works Department request to award the Fleet Garage renovation project, trench drains and doors to the low bidder Joseph J. Henderson and Son, Inc., at the cost of $222,210.
Sure. So I talked about this a little bit during the capital presentation and budget presentation. The Public Works facility, since it was constructed, obviously, in 2001, the equipment's changed over that time. Snowplows have gotten bigger. They have issues with getting the trucks into a couple of the bays with the plows on. So we've had where we've had to take the plows out, drive them in at an angle. So just it creates inefficiencies, some unsafe conditions. Also, the trench drains in the fleet area have, I mean, they've reached into the useful life, so they're brittle, cracked, they need to be replaced. So went out to bid on this, received 3 bids back. J.J. Henderson was the low bidder. Again, this is to remove a man door, expand the width of one of the doors, some work to the mezzanine level to cut a doorway through because we have to remove some stairs to get a door in, and then replace the trench drains. Heather and I met with representatives from J.J. Henderson to make sure everyone was on the same page as far as what we're looking to have done. Meeting went good, so we're all on the same page. So with that said, looking to award the project to the low bidder, J.J. Henderson, at the $222,210. That includes 2 alternatives. So alternative 1 was the mezzanine stair removal versus us trying to do it. have them do it, and then alternate 2 was some guardrail painting within the shop. So again, J.J. Henderson, the low bidder, by about $30,000 compared to the other 2. So.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Balmas,
Second.
second by trustee Garner. Any questions or comments? Trustee O'Brien.
I'd just like to thank Heather and Pat for reading my mind and having that conversation.
All right, so we're all not supposed to know what that means, right?
Okay. My mind was, thank you for
that's
setting
just-
expectations with the low bidder.
That was just Heather and I's meeting with them. Yep.
There we go. All right. Any other comments or questions? No. Roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Torstenson.
Aye.
Woodside. Aye. Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Six ayes.
Motion carries. On to public comment, this is the part where anybody can make a statement with regard to any item, whether it's on the agenda or off the agenda. Just state your name. Danny, we sorry that we made you wait this long.
I told him to come at 7:30, so he's only been waiting 11 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted
He's
to
been
come
in the seat longer than
He
that.
was told to come at 7:30.
I wanted to see Pat run a good meeting, so
He did.
happy to be here tonight. I really appreciate just a few minutes in your public comment. I actually, so my name's Danny Wiesen. I'm the superintendent at Warren Township High School, just here across the street. I'm actually here tonight as a member of the Warren Township High School Foundation. The foundation is a group of community members. Many of them are parents. The foundation raises and distributes money from the community to student impacting causes. Sometimes historically these have been classroom grants. Oftentimes, and primary purpose and role for the foundation is funding scholarships. The foundation right now is looking at trying something new with how we allocate scholarship dollars in the future. We're trying to add to the portfolio of scholarships that we offer students with a partnership with the College of Lake County and their apprenticeship program. I think the village is familiar with the apprenticeship program, and I think there's already some good things happening from what I understand with CLC and the village. I know we've had the police department in just recently to talk to our students about the apprenticeship program. The foundation is looking for some community organizations that are willing to help us contribute towards the apprenticeship program at CLC so that small businesses in the community can take advantage of the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program supports students by pairing them with an employer who helps with tuition while they employ the student who's then going to school and working for however long it takes them to get their certification. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but as you consider your finances for the future, one thing that you might want to consider is how you can continue to invest in current companies here in Gurnee by helping us keep Warren graduates in the community, helping Warren graduates find employment in the community here locally, and helping them go through and get a degree or a certification from CLC. Appreciate any consideration for that in the future and helping with those tuition and expense costs. Thank you very much for your time. Go Blue Devils.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. All right, anybody else that would like to make a comment, public comment? All right, there being none, the floor is closed. Tonight we have an executive session. There won't be any action taken after the executive session, so you'd be free to go. But I'll turn it to our attorney, Brian, to provide the exemption.
Right, it'd be appropriate to consider a motion for two reasons. One, to discuss compensation for specific employees. That's under exemption C1. And then also to discuss possible lease or purchase of real estate. That's under exception C5. And we need to have a motion, roll call vote.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee
Second.
Trustee Ross. Trustee Ross, second. Roll call, please. Did you get that?
No.
You didn't. Trustee Woodside, number 1. Trustee Ross, number 2.
Okay, so Woodside, Ross. Okay. Roll call, O'Brien.
Yeah, aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Aye.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
All right. I'll do it. Well, unless she wants to.